Welcome again to Disruption Drives. As autonomous vehicles proliferate, ensuring human oversight has become crucial for when technology meets its limits. Guident leads the way in remote driving, enabling professional drivers to intervene from far away, possibly creating a new kind of gig economy for drivers. Joining me today is Fabio Tylim, Global Vice President of Business Development at Guident. And like most Argentinians, or all Argentinians, a devoted Lionel Messi fan. He's here to discuss what this revolution means for the future of mobility. So Fabio wanted to thank you for your time. Let me ask you quickly by just asking you to introduce Guidant because this is a very novel concept, and as I understand it, you have a remote monitoring and control center for autonomous vehicle fleets.
Mhm.
What is this? Is
Yeah,
it like
well,
Lionel Messi assist for AVs?
good afternoon, Harry. Thank you for having me on your podcast. And yeah, so real quick, Guident Corp is a startup company out of South Florida. Actually, we've been in business for 5 years, and our focus is remote monitoring and control of autonomous vehicle fleet and devices. We are based in Boca Raton, and the Boca Raton Innovation Campus is where the IBM PC was developed and manufactured, largest office complex in Florida, inviting everybody who's around the area or visiting South Florida to come and visit us.
Amazing, amazing. So tell us more about the remote monitoring and control center, Fabio. So you replace, when technology of an autonomous vehicle um, reaches its limits, you provide drivers that are monitoring the vehicle from far away.
Yeah, so as we move from level 3 to level 4 autonomy, that is vehicles without the steering wheel, the controls, the pedals, etc., we need to start realizing the promise of autonomy, which is an economy of scale. And we achieve that for many reasons. One is driver shortages, but also to realize this, the promise of autonomy, we're going to be removing the driver from the vehicle. So nowadays, for some applications, you're required to have a safety operator, safety driver in the vehicle. But if we have that, then what is autonomy for, right? So as we scale, we're going to have to replace that remote driver for a human in the loop situation, which is basically what we do. It's provide a software stack so that fleet operators can have a remote monitoring control operators supervising the fleet. And this is very critical for operational continuity to efficiently resolve the complex, what we call edge cases. An edge case is when the autonomous vehicle is presented with a situation and it doesn't know how to respond. So it alarms and a remote control operator in a remote control operating place like center like the one behind me, where you have multiple stations with the controls and monitors and access to situational awareness via the high definition cameras in the vehicle, can assess a situation and based on that request from the autonomous driving system, decide how to resolve this possible complex edge case.
You were,
So
yeah, you were kind enough to share a video. Maybe I will just share that for our audiences, and
yeah,
and
absolutely. So this is an example of a vehicle. In this case, it's a bus which has the ADAS-TEC autonomous driving system, and it's basically driving. And at some point, it's going to request assistance. It found an obstruction, and then the remote operator, in this case, sitting 1,200 miles away in Boca Raton, this bus is in Michigan State University, is able to gain situational awareness through the video cameras, and then go drive around the obstacle, and then put the bus back into service into the fixed route to complete its mission. So the human oversight and supervision and intervention, it's ideal to ensure the safety and also to meet the regulatory compliance that driverless operations require. Most important, it builds trust and accelerates public acceptance of autonomous vehicle technology by offering that human in the loop component. We have a human overseeing the autonomous fleets driving around without a safety driver on board.
interesting, Fabio. What kinds of are you limited by the types of vehicles you can operate? Or rather, let me ask you, what does the vehicle need to have for it to actually be capable of being operated?
Right. So there's a couple of situations where you teleoperate. We're speaking strictly about autonomous vehicle, but it's not the only use case. We have customers or, for example, in mining and industrial type of operations that we can teleoperate. Use case in mind, got a customer that basically has a standard van that is driven by the crew to the mining site. But then the vehicle is teleoperated back to base, so another crew can take it. So that's a use case where there's no autonomy.
Got it. But in that case, do you need to, what is your implementation
So
process?
in both cases, I'm going to tell you what it requires. So in the case that there's autonomy involved, it could be on software-defined vehicles, standard vehicles, FMVSS, Federal Motor Vehicles Safety Standard certified, or even purpose-built autonomous platforms like we know controls like I discussed. So primarily in that case are people movers in autonomous vehicles like shuttles and buses like you just saw in Michigan State. And then other that could be ground-based delivery type of devices in industrial applications, military, agriculture, etc. And then autonomous robots as well. So the requirements is basically on a non-autonomous would be the drive-by-wire component. In the autonomous is the drive-by-wire, but the autonomous driving system, like the ADAS tech, right, in that bus, right, that has a sensor fusion, has lidars, radars, cameras that assist into the driving. And
With
then what also need
driver drive by
is
wire. It has to have a drive by wire. So it has to be a reasonably recent vehicle, not a legacy, traditional.
absolutely, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Fair
yeah,
enough.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Tell
yeah.
tell me a bit about
The other thing that is required, I'm sorry, is a high and reliable low latency connectivity, right? Because teleoperation is all about connectivity.
how are you
And
dealing with that in, let's say, a mining environment where there's, I'm assuming infrastructure is not easy.
yeah, so great question. So yeah, part of the integration process to the vehicle is providing software that runs in the vehicle, right? That's a guidance software, typically in an NVIDIA type of computing device that is provided by the autonomous driving system, or we can provide it ourselves. That's the computing, the compression of the video, then a robust communication hardware, 4G, 5G, and satellite as well for rural type of applications like we're talking about in the
Providing
mining.
all of that. You actually do all of that. So if you're going to a mining location, you actually ensure that the entire route has signal at all times.
Yeah, we need ubiquitous low latency, right? When you remote drive, you want to keep that ultra low latency down. We can do it down to 40 milliseconds on a private LTE or even 5G or LTE network. And then upwards to keep it around 80 to 100 milliseconds for 4G, 5G, even satellite. So we actually Guident, the executive management team is all from the telecommunications industry. Our CEO was the CEO of Siemens Communications North America, and our secret sauce is that ultra low latency. That's key for successful teleoperations.
So you mentioned secret sauce.
Hmm.
Ask you this, right? There's lots of emerging players in this space. Some of the AV developers want to do this themselves and adding it to their sort of infrastructure needs. What does Guidant provide, or what are you
Yeah.
differentiating on particularly? Of course, you have the telecommunications background, and you are the
Yeah.
lead player in this space by all means.
Yeah, so our competitive advantage is our proprietary software solution, which is based in about 9 patents, granted patents specifically for teleoperation. And also, we offer this unique multi-network connectivity, multi-orbit. We actually are finishing delivering to Space Florida a grant we won actually to be able to jump from different orbits, from geostationary to middle to low Earth orbit. So for those rural applications like mining we're discussing or non-urban. So that's another, I would say, competitive advantage, and also the extensive experience that we have in developing and building this type of remote operating centers.
So what are you currently working on? I mean, how are you working on improving the efficiency of remote operators? Are you finding more edge cases to solve for? Are you just increasing automation within your existing capabilities? Uh,
Yeah.
this guidance sort of roadmap look like?
Yeah, constantly evolving, and the roadmap is full of features. I would say some of the features that we have developed that are also requiring this is new technology, right? We're evangelizing, so we need to make the public using this in the public transportation applications comfortable. So we have a passenger communication system, which is a video two-way. So imagine if you walk into a shuttle, into a bus, and there's no driver. Some people will be apprehensive, so we can communicate with people on demand by then. And also, when there is an edge cases, you communicate, hey, we're going to be taking over for the next 10 seconds, drive around and put you back into course. That's one. Also, to make the autonomous vehicle safer, that's part of our promise. When we remote drive with sounds, like when a truck backs up, just making the environment alert that we're remote driving, just to make the pedestrians say aware, and also the ability to communicate with the exterior. You've seen those Waymo videos where there is a firefighter or a policeman trying to talk to the vehicle, right? So we have a communication system to be able to communicate, maybe say to a pedestrian, hey, move out of the way, type of thing, right? So that's in the standard application. Now, we're also using AI to enhance decision support with augmented reality and mixed reality features for the remote driver. And that will helps to improve situational awareness. And we have a module which is patented, which is a predict and prevent module, which what it does is integrates AI for predictive analysis to anticipate and flag potential edge cases that before they escalate, right? So we anticipate. We call this an IRL system, which is an incident risk level system, which integrates to real-time data sources like work zones in the route. Also, first responders may be coming into the route at any time, weather and other real-time databases. In this way, AI assists the remote control operator to be alerted. And we have the color coding system. When the vehicle is lit up green, means everything is normal. Yellow is one of these IRL situations may come into the fixed route. And red is when the vehicle stops and asks for help. Now, at any time, the vehicle will request assistance when it goes red. That's when the remote control operator can only take control of the vehicle, right? It's not that at any time the remote control operator can take control of the vehicle. And we'll always drive slow speed for a very short time. There's tens of thousands of edge cases that presents, and basically the remote control operator assists to resolving those edge cases and putting the vehicle back into the route to continue its mission.
So let me ask you this, Fabio. I mean, obviously you provide remote control services, remote monitoring centers for fleets. Do you expect these to be owned by the fleet operators and companies themselves, or do you think it's a lot easier for them to just work with a company like Guident?
Well, that's a great question. I would expect only the very large public transit type of highly specialized fleets might be building and managing their in-house. And we provide a software stack solution. We can do the entire project end-to-end for our customer. In fact, that's what we've done for a few customers already. However, I think in general, that'd be the top of the pyramid. I would say middle, I would be more of a hybrid model. And then the lowest would be more teleoperation as a service. And it makes sense, like in any other industry, because there's a significant cost efficiencies that you gain. Also immediate access to specialized expertise and scalability for operators. But the other thing we're offering is for those customers that choose to implement their own, we offer ours as a backup service.
Exactly.
Or some other company can do it, right? So when you're short of staff, you could do it.
Let me ask you this. I mean, look, the AV autonomous vehicle market is, of course, disruptive, but it's relatively low in terms of, at this point, the inflection curve is still there yet. So you're making, of course, a big bet. So how are you managing that growth curve?
Yeah, so we've been 5 years in business, and we've been working with the multiple autonomous vehicle and autonomous driving system vendors, and we get to integrate with every platform out there. We envision that the fleet operators are going to be managing fleets like they do today, from micromobility all the way to mid-size purpose-built vehicles, all the way to the large buses like we saw, right? So the reality is that we're at an inflection point. 2025, the energy is amazing. I've been in this industry for 5 years, and what's happening right now, I think it's we're going to be approaching a tipping point in the next few years. But just look at Waymo, robotaxi space. By May, they had 10 million paid rides in 4 markets only, right? Now they're up to 300,000 paid rides per week. In the San Francisco market, they have 27% share of the market, more than Lyft. So these are significant achievements in a very rapid time. So those vehicles, the Waymos that I'm talking about, those 10 million per rides, no safety driver on board. Okay. Then we had the Tesla launch in Austin with teleoperation backup promoted. So the energy is there, it's happening. So that's robotaxi. In the public transit sector, we actually been doing the initial successful deployments have been focusing on very specific contained operation design domain, ODDs, fixed route like campus, shuttles, and last mile delivery. And we are starting to roll from test pilot situations to commercial deployments. A significant event happened in June 30th, 2025, in the United States, where the Jackson Transportation Authority launched a first paid autonomous bus service. They have 14 vehicles in a fixed route of 2.1 miles with 7 vehicles, autonomous vehicles on that route, with a 7-minute headway, all automated. So it's happening. These are major milestones and approaching a tipping point for
And
sure.
organizations like these, right? And what I mean, are you trying and beyond just, of course, the remote driver and the remote monitoring control center? What do you sort of provide to help them with, insights or new business models for the fleet operators? Is there any of
Yeah,
the added services that you provide?
there's definitely additional value being basically having capabilities in the vehicle, right? These high definition video cameras. So all sort of video and data is collected. And based on that, there's so much leveraging possible of that collected data for proactive risk mitigation and predictive maintenance insights of sorts. So we have basically, we're working in partnership with the company. We develop a video language model for this type of ODDs, operational design domains, where we can run any type of analytics. We can do search of hours of these videos being collected by these vehicles being on the road. For example, we can do a search. Give me the jaywalking instances between stop 1 and stop 3 or stop 2, right? And it
Okay.
will show all the instances, right? And then, that, may provide a need for some sort of mitigation situation for that particular situation. But as that, you can imagine all the queries you can do. Mostly we will be focusing for the customers, which are the fleet operators, and sometimes they're city servicing, like in the case of Jacksonville. We can provide information on the graded infrastructure, for example, like street lanes fading, lights off at night that should be on, stop signs being tipped. I went to the beach Pompano on Sunday. One of these crosswalk stop signs, they're smaller type, was on the floor. A car drove over it. And I made a comment to my friend. He said, "Oh, it's been like that for 5 days." Imagine if the car can pick it up, inform someone at Public Works, this is happening, it could be resolved. And the impact of that is huge because you will be reducing liability to the city, right, to the infrastructure or the campus, say, and even possibly reducing insurance costs by having this methodology of assessing the infrastructure around the city. We can also, the next phase of this additional value we could provide to our customers is doing in real time. For example, illegally parked cars that are blocking the way of the autonomous vehicle, alerting the authorities so they can go and deal with it, for example. So the potential is very impressive.
Tell me about, you have the remote monitoring control command center, of course. You also are investing heavily into autonomous robots, and I know you have a watch
Mhm.
spot that can even navigate inside buildings.
Mhm.
how are these synergistic to each other? What is the core competency that you?
Oh, very seamless because what we provide is a remote monitoring control solution, right? So the human in the loop, the human oversight. Core technology is the same. We're remotely monitoring and controlling, and it's applicable across both domains. And it addresses again that universal need to have the human supervision to handle those edge cases to ensure safety and on all autonomous systems, not just vehicles but also devices. The watch, what in particular is very special. It's mostly for interior, but also exterior industrial applications. That's inspection, surveillance. It's excellent for industrial type of inspection use cases because, like utility gas customers, we have electric utilities, waste collection yards. It has 360-degree camera. It has a pan tilt zoom 30x camera. It has infrared capabilities. It's gas sniffer. So for a gas utility customer that we're working with, it's a solution, and all sort of sensors, also all terrain all weather. So it's a combination of all these technologies that can reduce and mitigate also liability situations by doing these proactive inspections.
So just to summarize our sort of conversation, Guidant is the human in the loop for when technology is reaching its limit. New world, very much, but Guidant is helping us solve that and really build that ramp towards autonomous vehicles. Fabio Tylim, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that we're ushering a revolution where, of course, in the gig economy world, maybe remote driving is also one of those jobs, but I know we're not there yet. But wanted to thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for having me, and I remain available for any questions that anybody may have.